You've seen 11 killer whales.
Oh, and you didn't bring 40 people with you tonight.
Ah,
We had a hard time getting a parking spot.
Probably put electrician's tape on the floor.
I pulled it more forward on the white table because the white table was showing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm just trying to get
You can't see
Steve in.
Steve, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
My wife said I'm supposed to make sure I brush my hair. There's not much there anyway, so. All right. So we'll turn that off once we get to paying the bills, because that's kind of boring to watch. So it's live, it's being recorded. People would be able to see the recording after the meeting as well as join live.
But they probably won't be able to see that.
No, we've tested that, and no matter how we play with the screen resolution and the brightness, we just can't
Is there
get this to
any
show.
way you can transfer from the camera to the laptop to be broadcast?
So what the IT fellow at the county said is they have I'll call it a mixer, where they plug in multiple sources. And one of them is the laptop with what you're displaying, one of them is this camera, one of them is something else. And he just sits there and switches between them
Back and forth.
as so if they need to present something, they switch to the computer.
Well, I was wondering if we couldn't do that.
It would be a manual kind of thing.
Well, when you're ready to start your financials, just switch to the screen.
Tested that.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be the choreographer.
Yeah.
Run the equipment.
Or you've got to go over to the laptop and do the switch.
Yeah, it's all controlled from that laptop.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Don't leave.
That's why they, the IT
You
fellow.
chose to sit close, you're operating it.
He said that's why they have an IT person at their meetings all the time, so they can manage.
Yeah, I know how to do it through Zoom meetings and stuff like that, but it's
Just kidding, don't
a little
worry.
more complicated.
Okay, that's time to go.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, here. How do we know that?
Oh, I don't know.
So everything's rolling every day.
You weren't Saturday.
Oh, let's see.
Anybody
Through the small things, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don.
Here.
Karen.
Here.
Ian. Tom.
Here.
Steve.
Right here.
That was roll call. Okay, approval of minutes from the February board meeting. Need a motion to approve.
Make motion.
Do I have a second?
I have one change
Okay,
on page 5, right after the resolution about the citing the energy storage system. That is just the date, Thomas says, adopted and certified on the 11th day of May 2026.
Oh, man.
Just wanted to let you know I was paying attention.
with that correction, do I have a second for the February meeting minutes?
A second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Opposed? Motion carries. Board reports. That would be you, Alan.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Hey.
Alan Mace, the assessor. All right, you already have your reports on hand. Field review is coming in really slow right now, just because he's kind of bouncing back and forth, doing data collection he's collecting permits right now before he starts working on the data collection for the reval. So we're not doing a reval yet. This is data collection for the reval. And equalization rate, the last equalization rate was 65. We are now at 57 for the town. number of exemptions. Does anyone have any questions about the equalization rate? I know some people have some questions about how that whole thing works, assessed value, market value, so on and so forth. Okay. Number of exemptions, 192. We went down a couple from last month. It was just the ag exemption, but I added them back on since. So economic impact is 15 million. And yeah, rather than 13 million we had last month. Senior citizen exemption workshop was done. I only had like 2 people from the town of Gregg last month come in for the senior citizen exemption. Primarily it was to help with like STAR, enhanced STAR. But that was it, and got you taken care of. Yeah, that's good. Okay, town parcel count, steady at 2113. Active permits, 229 minus 65 from last month. These are all the permits that Alex is collecting. And I haven't done all the value for those yet, but I'm slowly working on them. So there's quite a bit of permits. As soon as, it takes about 15 or 20 minutes per parcel to revalue it. So it's going to take a little while for me to get those numbers crunched in there. And especially with me working on Krogan's reval. I'm going through informal hearings right now, so it's taking a lot of the time that I have. The county data collector, and his report is on the next page. He visited approximately 42 parcels visited. Permits were approximately 50, and that's all in the permits that you saw. We went down minus 65 from last month. And he has 17 parcels that have been entered, meaning those are all parcels that I need to assess still.
So what does it mean, number of permits visited versus number of parcels visited? How do you visit a permit?
Well, there's certain parcels that have multiple permits. So if there's 3 or 4 permits on a particular parcel, then he'll go to that parcel and ensure that permit is complete.
Okay.
He could have worded it a little differently, but that's his report. As of March 9th, we have 6,837,242 gross change in the total total value from last year to this year. So just under 7 million in total assessed value for the town. Town's taxable value increase is just under 6 from 2025. So it's 1 million, 1.2 million just from last month is what I added. And I conducted 8 meetings with property owners regarding senior citizen and enhanced STAR, and just to answer general questions. And processed 26 deeds and 16 sales. We didn't have, as a matter of fact, that's wrong. I think we added 4 more sales to that number, so 20 total sales. And just keep track of those. Those sales are very important because that kind of gives me a trend of where the town is going, and that's why we've been decreasing steadily in equalization rate. So, any questions about that?
Is that 16 sales in a month?
Arm's length sales. Oh no, that's total from January.
Okay.
So from January 29th. So for the year to date, from January to now, it's total 16 sales. Okay. Questions?
And the property values, when you said the trend of the sales is what's pushing making us see that the equalization rate's going down, is that because the prices of the selling for are going
are
up?
increasing? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're so far the trending data is around 8 to 9% increase year over year. The trend, when you see a 65% right here, with the equalization rate,
Right.
that's on a hypothetical trend of 4%. So when the state says, hey, our trending data should be should be, actually, our equalization rate should be like 57%. It actually isn't. It's not factoring in the 12%. This is just a hypothetical number of market value. And then when I go through the reval, that's when you're going to get the actual value of the town. So, and that hypothetical number here is based on a 4% trend, but we're not there. We're at 12, 8, 7, 4, 8, 7, 8, 7, 4, 8, 7, 8, 7. So that's weird.
Just testing.
It works.
Like feedback loop.
Yeah. It's weird to hear yourself over and over again. All right, so there is clarity on the 100% disabled veteran exemption. It's 100% of the value of the property. So if the property is value, total assessed value $100,000, and if the veteran is 100% disabled and follows a certain criteria, their property is 100% exempt. That's from all municipalities, school, county, and town. And there is no local option for that. So once that becomes effective in March, I have till obviously in October, I have till March 1st of 2027 to get everyone, into the system, who does apply and who is qualified. There is a list, and there's only like 5 people with it. From my understanding, there's only 5 people within the county that has it. And I believe 1 is here. So it's, if that is, it's not gonna affect the overall assessed value of the town.
How do I get a list of the veterans?
Dave Pavey has a list. He's the county VSO,
What's
So-
the VSO?
Veteran Service Officer.
All right,
Yeah, he's gonna be over at DSS.
DSS.
It's
Social
over,
services at the county.
all right.
Stowe Street.
yes. One more that's not on the report is senior citizen exemption. Oh, and the law for the veterans, if you wanted to take a look at that, I included into the report on the back page. I actually forgot about the citizen exemption until driving in here today. So, but I would have included that law for your record if you wanted to keep it. Senior citizen exemption has been upgraded to 65% by the state. That's going to be dependent on the municipality. So they have to write it into law or put the resolution in for it. Most towns are probably going to wait for the county to make a move on it before they do. And that's going to be on a sliding scale. So whatever your M factor is, whatever your maximum income limit is, say it's $30,000 like the county, it further decreases every $1,000 or $2,000 in income limit to obtain a 50, 55, 60, 65% off of your total assessed value. Does that make sense?
Did you say they're going to 60%?
65% is the new state law. So, but the towns, all the municipalities have to,
How old is it for that?
65. 65. So that's what's on the, that's what's going on with the law,
At 30,000.
with assessments.
Levy went up 65.
So how does that relate to this graph of veterans? That is, that's what I thought.
So with this graph here, instead of 50%, you just increase it up to 65, and then it'll come down every 5%, right? Is that what it is on here? Yeah.
Well,
every
that's
5%.
an example. The town sets.
Correct, right,
Yeah.
yeah. And then whatever your income limit is, every town sets their own income limit.
Right.
And then it'll be income limit minus 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, so on and so forth. Okay. And I could give you that law next week.
And when does that When do we need to make a move? People, you're saying that most towns are gonna wait and see what the county does
Correct.
and then decide whether we like
Right.
that or.
Right. I asked Andy about it, and she's waiting to hear from, they're all gonna get in their gaggle and talk about it with legislators and stuff. Questions?
Yeah,
Comments?
senior citizens exemption, that has to be applied for every year, right?
Correct.
Okay, and does it have, no, I thought I read in there that it has to be done, now it has to be done online. That's the only way to do it then?
That's the enhanced star.
That's enhanced star.
That's an enhanced star. If you're a new enhanced star recipient, then you have to do it online. If you currently have basic star, the old basic star exemption, you could come see me and then I'll make the switch if you're over 65 and you meet those limits.
You would
I would make the change
to enhanced.
Right. I would make the change from basic to enhanced exemption, not credit. There's the two different.
You only need to have one member of the two be over 65.
Yeah.
It's not, both of you don't have to be over 65.
Right.
No, that's not a problem anyway.
If you make less than $110,000, I think they increased it to 116. But if you make less than 116,000, you also qualify. Is that right? Because you just recently did it. Yeah, 116,000. Yeah, you would qualify for the enhanced star. So if you make more than that, you have to stay on basic up to 250,000. So you make 250,000.
Now it's Bob getting a raise. I'm awful close right now, but
Right on the fence.
So where's your office?
Um,
On the right
Oh,
hand, just before the kitchen.
I'm serious.
Oh, yeah, on the right hand, go through that door on the right hand side.
We'll have,
Second door to right.
we'll have to talk because we got a complicated situation.
Any questions about that, folks? Ladies and gentlemen?
So what's the cutoff for you in terms of getting these permits into the system in time for the school tax?
Well, it's supposed to be the end of the month this month, but because we have so much going on in the towns, especially with me and the Krogan, she's giving me to April 15th to get everything in. So April 15th for me is my drop dead date. That's for everything. I just finished up New Bremen's permits, so those are all done. Actually, Greg is next on my list.
The May 1st sets the values.
For the school tax in September.
Right.
So this says it's gonna take you 55 hours to clean up the 229 at 15 minutes a permit.
Well, not all those permits are gonna be ready. So some of those permits are new, that's the total amount of permits we have. Yeah. But as far as the permits that are, like big structures, barns, garages, homes, those will all be done by April 15th. That's my plan. So,
And I did hear last week you had somebody that was not particularly happy about their new
assessed value.
assessed value.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I could hear it in my office with your door closed. And that wasn't Alan, that was the person.
Oh, the person on the phone, yeah.
oh,
I was getting cussed at for 15 minutes, so.
That's why you're in the big bucks.
That's why,
it was easy, everybody wanted,
yeah,
everybody wanted the job, right?
that's why he wears a flak jacket.
The shame of mine is I've been called worse things by better people.
Yeah, I've been around.
Okay. Thank you, Alan.
All right.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Thank you very much.
So I went to the planning board and asked them if they would like to get started on the short-term rental regulation update to the zoning laws. We have none, and the county is starting this process where they will do inspections based on what you have in your zoning law. in particular for safety and that type of stuff at a minimum. And we have nothing in our zoning law that defines a short-term rental, so they have nothing to inspect, but they still expect people to register. And so there was some concern that there'd been these people that are now registered running short-term rentals, they're not being inspected. And then by the time we get our zoning law fully updated, with our grant process and program, that those people have been operating for a year or whatever, no inspections. And then once the zoning law goes into effect, those people have to meet the inspections. But this group that initially registered with the county doesn't have to, they're grandfathered. They're grandfathered for a period, I think, of 2 years, because every 2 years you have to reapply. So, it's not like they'd be out of whack for a long period of time, but they would be grandfathered for some period of time. So I threw the option out there to the planning board if they wanted to get started. And also, I requested that in our request for proposals that we're writing for consultants to help on the zoning law update, that we plan on 2 drops of the zoning. The initial one that tackles the high impact items that have been identified, and then a final drop which will address other things, a total cleanup of the zoning law. And so the board said that they wanted to get started. The planning board said they wanted to get started on updating the zoning law with respect to short-term rentals. But yes, sir.
How's that gonna work? I mean, we did it a decade ago. We just rented our cottage on an informal basis. And I know a lot of people around the lake do that. How is that gonna be enforced?
Don't know. We'll have to wait and see what the way most of the zoning law gets enforced here is people rat on each other.
Good to know.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I've been told by the county folks who say that Greg takes them like 15 hours a week. They should allot 15 hours a week to Greg. Now, that was during the high building season, not during the winter. But so, yeah, how are they going to do it? They don't have enough people. With the money they're going to get from, increased sales tax, bed tax, they should be able to hire somebody to do just this function.
And a boat rental to Grand Island?
That's a big problem, potentially. So, yeah, there is definitely concern about enforcement. There was discussion at the board meeting, the planning board meeting, that we should bring back building codes and the zoning officer so that we have somebody to enforce. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I think we tried that and it didn't work. We tried it twice.
I think if the right person was available, then that certainly would be an option, but it's been proven over the years that since Dave Mead left, that right person hasn't been available.
And, I think the fact that 17 out of the 25 towns and villages rely on the county is also indicative of the fact that the right people just aren't out there.
And Jefferson County is the same way, and that's the trend.
And it's a part-time position,
Right.
but it's impossible to do it properly on a part-time basis.
Right. Most of the guys I worked with that tried it, I can't remember the guy in Watson that tried it for a while.
Tim Lee.
Yeah, and like you said, then they quickly realized, good luck trying to be a part-time guy because there's something going on. People are after you all the time.
Constantly.
And it's just like, they bail out. They just bail out or they don't do it, one or the other.
Yeah, I can't see it being a job that, like if you were going to do building codes and zoning and now with these inspections, although they'd be done every 2 years, but still, there's apparently, according to the comprehensive plan, there are 54 rentals registered with Airbnb and VRBO right now. So there's a minimum of 54 that have to get re-inspected every 2 years. And I'm sure there are a lot more that do it informally, that aren't on those sites that in theory should be collecting bed tax. And then being inspected, so.
But not only that, when a violation happens because of a renter not observing the rules that were supposed to apply to that property, somebody's gotta be the officer to go up and either issue a citation to the people renting or the owner of the property. I mean, that even extends
Right, it makes it even more work.
more than just the
Yeah,
inspection and the.
you're right. It's just like zoning, fine, you hand out the zoning permit, just like you hand out the registration for the short-term rental, but then you've got to go make sure they adhere to that.
You're supposed to anyway.
Right. And, people will complain, there's no doubt about it. But doing nothing, I don't think is an option, because clearly the comprehensive plan survey said people want them regulated. And, so doing nothing is not an option, and if we get 50% of what we're hoping for, then that's better than not doing anything. So that's that. So if the board doesn't have a problem with them getting started, we will eventually marry that work into the zoning law update committee, which will form once we get the grant going and get the consultant on board. But they're going to get a head start on that effort.
The planning board's gonna get a heads up, so that's what you're asking us now, if we don't have a problem with the planning board getting a jump on it.
Is this something they requested to be more involved with doing
Well,
some of these?
In theory, the planning board is supposed to start the suggestion of changes and make draft changes to the zoning law. And then the board considers them. And so some of the recent changes, they weren't involved, but mainly that was because, one, we were in a short term, we wanted to get stuff in the law before we got an application. And two, these were already approved by the county for, in various other towns. So there wasn't any point in starting from scratch. So, but yes, they're supposed to be the lead, if you will, for these things.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I mean,
I don't know who would lead it from their organization yet. I'm thinking we'd wait to involve non-board members until we got the grant program going. At that point, have that formal committee and get them involved. Because there are definitely people that are interested in being on that committee that are board members. So we should do it. Okay, good. ZBA. You have on your desk a new form the ZBA would like to adopt for documenting their actions with requests for variances. And I don't know, you reviewed it, it seems cleaner, Ian, and more straightforward as to what they're trying to do and why they did or did not. You don't have to dig through stuff. It's, check the right box and you know where to go and read.
I just had a few points of clarification, but it wasn't any.
Yeah,
email.
Gina made those updates to it, and this is the result of that. So basically, this is, it's not meeting minutes. This is for each application. This is the form they would fill out. And then the person that applied would have to sign it and said they understood what the restrictions were, on it. So it's very, very clear. They knew what they could and couldn't do. But, that was true on the other form as well. So they're going to go forward with that unless somebody has an issue with it. They don't meet again until obviously the first of the month. Jim, any comments from? No.
We're all good with it.
Okay. All right. That's it for board reports. District Attorney.
Nothing on the legal cases. I didn't know if I saw you had the Hodge Creek contract. Did you want to discuss that?
He updated it.
Oh, okay.
He said this was just my standard contract that I always use, but he took out the offending paragraphs that about termination.
Okay. Was he gonna get bond or
No, he
performance
said he's
bond on it?
never gotten bonded on these small
Okay.
things. And I didn't.
I asked, so I didn't know, I asked actually my father-in-law who does excavating for state contracts. He said the state's policy is every contract, they require performance bond. It's up to you. I mean, you're taking on that risk, but we kind of we tightened up the language a little bit so he can't cancel the contract.
No,
So-
he said, he put that in there mainly because of things that have happened to him and not
Sure,
things he would expect to have.
understood. I figured as
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
so, okay.
So, yeah, so I signed that. He's already got the material on order for fixing the dam outflow. It's supposed to come in this week. And from there, it goes over to the fabricator who will make the structure out of the stainless steel. And then they'll get into installing. And he said, weather permitting, perhaps early April. In the contract, it said mid-May, but he said, I just did that to protect myself since I can't predict the weather. But he understands that we usually start filling the lake right around mid-April. Maybe it's a little later this year because the ice may be thicker, but he understands that, and that's his goal, is to get it done before then, so we don't lose too much of the thaw. So, do we have to go into executive session to discuss whether we want to go to Supreme Court or not?
Yeah, you probably should. I'd say so.
Okay, I'd like to go, this will be quick, folks. I'd like a motion to go into an executive session to discuss whether we should take a case to the Supreme Court.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, we're out.
We'll be quite brief. Oh, crap. The live stream. Can you kill the mic? I don't know.
That's it. Maybe a little assess
And we're
additional fines annually too, so you at least get some of that money back. That's a possibility.
They had it out.
They had it out.
They had it out or they had it out?
They had it out.
Okay, I just want to make sure I heard you right, Jim.
I think, what did I sound like I said?
Sound like you said they had it
Yeah,
out.
that's what I thought I heard too. I was like, oh boy.
So gee, I didn't know there was a problem, but
Comments from the public.
I just had two little things, obviously regarding Bess. Just updates, nothing. Last night, Gloversville Council was meeting to discuss a ban on Bess, and I just wanted to read what the Common Council of the City of Gloversville finds that utility scale energy systems and commercial battery energy storage systems may have significant impacts on land use patterns, public safety, infrastructure capacity, emergency response preparedness, environmental conditions, and long-term redevelopment objectives of the city. They've also determined that such uses are not compatible with the city's existing development pattern, comprehensive plan goals, and health, safety, and welfare of its residents. So they're joining the list, ever-growing list of communities that are banning it, and this is why. Save this for when we get to that point. The other thing I had was Public Service Commission in the matter of energy storage deployment program, establishing energy storage goals. This is June of 2024. This is almost comical, saying their analysis indicates that over 4 gigawatts of 8-hour storage will be needed by 2035. With 70% of this sited in New York City and Long Island. You know that's going. But the thing I saw in here, Bob, was the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority shall establish a 15-year maximum contract length
Saw that somewhere else.
for lithium-ion battery bulk storage energy projects, and a 25-year maximum contract term length for bulk non-lithium ion. So last time I looked on NYSERDA, there were only 3 that were non-lithium, including this one. So the only reason I bring that up is assuming any pilot and or health community or host community agreements would match this. Our current town law, our current town pilot law is limited to 15 years. So maybe just massaging that verbiage.
No, you're right.
So we don't, if we get this force on us, we don't miss out on 5, 8, 10 years of
Right.
revenue, which quite frankly is the only advantage we're to the town.
Right.
So that was the only thing I was bringing that up for. A couple other things, Bob, you already have on your agenda. I'm still gonna keep looking at municipal laws, Best specific laws and bans. It just seems too many of them mirror that one I sent you from NYSERDA. Almost word for word, which considering the source is not, some of them I've seen have had different insurance requirements, bonding, things like that. I want to compile the different, maybe unique things that other municipalities have and work with the zoning change committee, whatever you want to say, let's do this. Let's just not take this one that is from a source that's got their own agenda to support them. So I'll keep doing that.
Okay.
And the other 2 things I was going to bring up was the comprehensive plan and the consultants, which like I said, you've already got on the agenda. So
In that list of areas versus where we need consultants and who that consultant would be, you had brought up a couple of questions about fire and where you thought we were missing out on something in our zoning law. But I was rereading my notes from that seminar we all had in here and they said you shouldn't duplicate requirements that are already in the fire regulations. And a couple of things you highlighted, they were in the fire regulations. So they're already covered and they get updated. And if we don't update our zoning law, then we're out of sync with, we say it can't burn more than 4 hours. The fire law says it can't burn more than 2 hours. Well, we're stuck with the whole 4 until we change until somebody tells us there was a change in the fire law. So anyway, so we have to just scrub that a little bit to make sure we're not duplicating. So there's requirements in one place only, so that there's no problem with keeping them in sync.
You don't think it's a good idea to just have things there that maybe would be like a reminder? I mean, are they gonna read every word of the fire code?
The experts are going to verify that they meet the fire code.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a building inspector.
That's not gonna be just a one-time thing either. That's what,
It's gotta be ongoing as they.
I remember the fire code, Bob, the new code that was generated or rewritten because of the fires in Chemung. The applicant will have to train.
Right.
The fire department. Is that I don't remember if that's a one-time deal, but the turnaround.
Well, training for the fire department is not one time anyway.
Right.
There are annual requirements, whether they happen or whether they don't. They can always cite that, yes, it's required, but you didn't do it. But you are required to have, a certain amount of training each year.
And we get these consultants, experts, we want to call them, okay, yeah, this is forced on us. Yep, you've met everything. What about 6 years later? Someone's gonna have to, more than one, is gonna have to be monitoring this for compliance.
Well,
The decommissioning plan, the security, bonding with that has to be updated.
Yep.
All that.
well,
Right, there's a requirement that they update the decommissioning plan every few years for cost, but then you're right, our expert needs to then review that to see whether they've really accounted for increased costs correctly or not.
it's hard. How was I just gonna say this? Even initially to be sure that things are being taken care of. For instance, down there in Warwick, they never had a certificate of compliance. It was never approved to operate anyway. And had they never had a fire, it probably never would have been. But who's following up on that? And that wasn't even after 5 or 6 years. That was initial.
Yeah, it's a big fear, big concern for everybody.
This one in Gloversville that you just were looking at that they had a ban. Had they did they already have any BESS within
No.
their municipality?
No, and this is right at the end of their moratorium. They're looking at that. And I know Facebook's not a good source of much of anything, but that situation in Northampton is just crazy. They've already received their application from the Carson, I think, is the applicant. They're going through a moratorium process right now. I'm like,
They get a moratorium and they've already accepted
they
it.
haven't got the moratorium yet. They're preparing a moratorium. I'm like,
Preparing moratorium and they've accepted an application.
they've got an application.
Oh,
They
boy.
haven't. Yeah, it's just.
We got a limited time to accept it when it becomes
Yeah,
accepted.
only like 10 days, right?
Yeah, in one way, they're ahead of us on their time frame, but they're also behind us on preparing themselves. It's just, and this is only, like I said, a twin 5 megawatt,
Yeah, something small.
something small. And it's just like, the way the moratorium reads right now, my understanding, we're postponing battery storage facilities, except this one. What you've already got, it's.
One thing I'd like you to keep a lookout for is it's easy to say we've banned them.
Mhm.
How many of them have been taken to court? That's what I want to know. How many have been taken to court? Because you can put anything in your law you want to, and it can stay there until you're challenged in court.
Mhm.
Right? So, I mean, that's what every lawyer, every land lawyer has told me, the three of them that I've talked to, you, not land use, but you advise that same. And it's like, don't do it, it'll get overthrown in court. So I'd really like to know if any of these have survived a challenge in court.
Like the outright ban?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. I
I'm
just
not-
want
I'm
to make
not
sure I was
saying
on the same
I'm
page.
not saying that doesn't mean we can't do it. I'm
Right.
just saying I want to set expectations. Just because there's a ban in the law doesn't mean it's going to hold up.
Right.
The only thing I can think of, Bob, is one municipality I mentioned at one board meeting, they sued Orez in 2021. They've lost every case for the last 3 years. I don't remember specifics, but
Okay.
once you get Orez in there, which I'm trying to follow the progress of whatever that is,
Senate bill,
S5508.
whatever, yeah. Yep.
You can't. It's like navigating a minefield.
Okay.
But that's all.
I'm still curious about the question that I had brought to you, Bob, about how, and I know that the guy Tim that was here and he's pushing for this to have a ban, but you also have regulations. So I just don't, Ian, how did something like that work? Can you ban something and yet have regulations in your zoning law that would basically allow it?
You could. The thing, my concern, and I mentioned this at the whatever meeting that was, is if they're going to go through the trouble of overturning your ban, they're also going to try to overturn as many of your other parts of your law as they can. They'll just bring it as one scattershot action against you. So they'll try to overturn the main ban and also whatever the backup regulations are. They're going to ask the court for an opinion on that too.
So then if you didn't have the ban and you just had the regulations, they would
They
probably.
might say, we'll live with the regulations. It's not worth going to court over. That's kind of how I would read it. But I've never done a case like this.
I just don't understand how you can have both in there. How you can regulate it on the one hand, you can ban it on the other.
I think it's just those regulations kick in if the ban is overturned.
That's like your fail-safe.
Right.
Or tries to.
It's sometimes you'll see in the law, like if any part of this law is deemed to be invalid or unconstitutional, all of the provisions of this law shall remain in force. It's something along those lines. Except you're doing it as separate laws.
But Don, I'm trying to get as much information as I can on both exactly what you're saying, because who knows where we're gonna be.
Yeah.
If Orez takes over, pretty much
The ban's not going to
push
happen.
this ban out. And then we've got to do as much as we can to protect Greg.
Yeah.
And get as much as we can.
I wonder, because we talked about, like, for example, the planning board having separate counsel, if there aren't any law firms that are looking to consolidate these cases. Because the thing is, something like this could easily go up to the Court of Appeals. And I
Right.
wouldn't be surprised if there would be a law firm out there who's like, got
Let's get
20
everybody together.
towns as clients, help to share the cost, similar facts, similar legal rationale, and just defend it as one action or bring it as one lawsuit, that kind of thing.
It's getting more of a political hotbed too, especially with that leaked, whether it's intentional or not, that leaked NYSERDA notice that it's gonna cost people an extra $4,100 a year. Now obviously it's along party lines, but you're getting a lot more pushback from politicians, so I won't say it's an underground swelling, but it's a movement that's gaining momentum, whether it's like anything else, whether it's sincere interest or just political give the tour.
I know I brought this up at last meeting, but the property owner who owns this site up here, and I just wondered if he was, if this was a project that was looking for a site, or if it was a site that was looking for a project. If he was familiar with what was happening on Staten Island, because that's where he lives, and he reached out to a developer, and I mean, if they didn't have the land, they wouldn't have the project.
Yeah, from what EPI told me when I said, why Greg? They said, well, we looked in St. Lawrence County first, but we decided that property wasn't the appropriate property, and this property became available. So I think they were looking to do something along this particular
Corridor.
high power line that has capacity on it and has a lot of renewable energy tied to it. So that's,
Yeah, but that, I don't know, that doesn't matter.
well, it does. You've got to be,
It doesn't matter where they are.
you've got to
Trying to
be
put them all over
close
the place.
to the power line to connect.
Oh,
to
yeah,
it.
the power line,
The
but
power
that's
line,
But that
not
renewable
to the-
Substation.
That windmill
But
part,
it doesn't have to be close
oh,
to
yeah,
the
no,
windmill.
but to the power line. So it's
Right.
a fairly narrow strip of land along that power line where they're going to be looking. And
Yes,
just-
I agree with that.
they're, you know,
I asked her that night they were here, how many could you put these things every mile down the pot? I mean, what's the logic? What's the spacing? What's the,
Right.
you know?
Well, to get back on the network again, you need that substation that was built for the wind towers on Austin Road. That's what,
Do they have to go back through that, not just?
I would assume so.
I had no idea.
You just can't throw power back.
But I mean, they're trying to pop these things up. I mean, municipalities all over the state are putting a moratorium in because these things are getting proposed all over. So we're not that unique in the site over here. I
But
think.
like citing a McDonald's or an Arby's or something, they've got a team that it takes them just minutes. Here's 17 candidates, which is the best.
And that goes back to what Ian was saying, there's so many of them that are,
Well, I feel like they're
Okay,
throwing out
resistant.
like a trot line and looking for a sucker. Like, that's what I feel like. Who needs the money the most? Who's desperate for it the most? Like,
it was just kind of ironic or conspiracy theory or whatever, but that's the first thing I came across was property owners Staten Island. The first thing I saw was Staten Island banning them. It's just,
But they already have some though.
Yeah.
They're banning additional. Yeah, I did too. I looked at that and I said, wonder when this guy bought the property, but he's had it since '94.
oh, I only went back like 2019.
Yeah, I went back in his
This
town
map
when he
is
acquired it.
where all of the proposed energy storage facilities would go in based on everybody that made an application to NYSERDA.
And Bob, that's the source I use, those three yellow ones
Okay,
are the non-lithium.
right, all in Lewis County.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough.
You guys got a big agenda.
It is.
We can sit here for,
yeah.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Along
Thanks,
the
Jim.
lines of what
Appreciate it.
Jim said, the county also passed that resolution we passed last month saying they were against that Senate bill,
Yep.
whatever it was. So they just emailed that to all the municipalities to let them know that's what
hey,
they,
folks.
Okay, thank you.
but they're behind us. So beat them. Okay, so last month we talked about potential for creating a reserve fund supporting grant match requirements. We had a fair amount, and over $100,000 in unassigned fund balance on the A side. And you know how state comptroller doesn't like lots of money hanging around, and that's after reserving money for the beginning of the year, right? So, we need potentially $18,000 if we win this park upgrade grant. And so I thought it made sense to establish a reserve fund for grant match requirements, and I thought we could fund it at 20,000. The goal, of course, would be one, that would cover if we win, but two, I would plan on, you'll hear later, going after other grants to help us defray that match that we're required to provide. But it definitely did impact me last year when I looked at a grant and I saw, 10% of, I forget, maybe it's Hokel's playground grant was a 20% match. I'm like, yeah, I don't have that in the budget, so I'm not going to bother going after it. So having a reserve fund for that would be a good thing. So if you're in favor of that, we'll write up something to pass next.
I think so. I mean, it's gonna be one grant or another,
Yep.
Yeah.
at least once a year, probably more than that.
You think I'm going to write that many?
I see how you are, Bob. You're gonna be going after all kinds of stuff.
If you don't get pages first.
I'll still help write grants. All right, we talked about that policy on town reimbursement for damage to private property. And I just wanted to go over. I'm gonna try hard. It starts to lag. Now that I don't have to be tied to that, I can do that. Okay, so this is, as we talked about, one of our employees damages some private property. Although we're not on the hook to pay unless it's gross negligence, we thought we would be nice people and try to do something for the person. So, stop. All right, so over here, we'll cover for a maximum of $1,000 or the deductible, whichever is less. It doesn't matter whether they choose to submit a claim. But then what if their deductible is $1,000, but it only costs $500 to repair it, right? So $1,000 or the actual cost to repair, whichever is less, preferred wording there, right? It covers that.
Yeah.
So Mike has said that we do cover mailboxes. So we had a statement in here. True, we did. There it is.
We cover mailboxes?
Huh?
We cover mailboxes?
Yeah, he did.
We always have.
So I had in there, under no circumstances would we pay for anything that was within the road line or road right of way, thinking about people that put their fences up or things like that. But then Mike brought up mailboxes. So I thought I'd just put in there, except for mailboxes. If everybody's okay with that. Yeah. Giving them 15 days to notify us from the time of the accident. One, I would say if they live there, that's too long a time. They better notify us sooner than that. So, we can inspect it quickly.
They're gonna know
talk to
because they're
them.
not gonna get any mail.
Yeah, more than likely you're probably gonna hear about this, don't we?
Yeah. But then what about summer residents,
True.
right?
Mm.
Something happens,
They show up 4 months later.
right? Of course, they may have no idea, but they can suspect, but how would they prove?
Right.
There's a ring cameras.
So what's your thoughts?
I don't know how you do that with the summer
Yeah, I don't
and
either.
make it fair. I mean, because if they don't have to tell you for several months, then why would the person who lived there has to tell you?
I agree.
So wouldn't the employee self-report that he had caused damage?
Should. You should.
Should,
You
but
should. Okay.
could, I mean, I don't really think this, could you do if they could provide proof, like if they do have ring camera footage or something, like if it is later, we would still be okay with it? Like if they can provide proof somehow?
But if they don't have a way to prove it, then they're
Well,
still-
then, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, we're kind of already. I mean, someone could have been drunk driving and swatted their mailbox too, I mean,
The state doesn't cover them at all.
okay,
This woman called me up on Route 12 to fix her mailbox at the state clobbered. And that afternoon, I had to go to Watertown, so of course my eye's going right to the side of the road. You wouldn't believe how many mailboxes there were, or half mailboxes there were out there. I mean, they clobbered a lot of them. And she told me that they won't make good on them.
okay.
Yeah, I guess I would lean towards a shorter time period and then,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean, if somebody's not here.
The town employee shall report any damage to a resident's property the day it occurs. And the supervisor, I should say superintendent, or superintendent shall.
Put in there at the
investigate-
discretion of the board or something like that.
Where?
Well, somewhere in there where it talks about the time period.
Okay,
And, that they have to notify you within 24 hours, and somehow or other put it it's at the board's discretion. That's if it was somebody that was away and,
Yeah.
maybe the snow
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, that's
maybe
a
the
good
snow
idea.
was piled up around it or something. Maybe nobody could even see for a while, but
And then we gotta match that up, like you said, against did somebody self-report it and.
I don't know that it happens a lot, does it?
Well, I don't think this is gonna get used a ton, that's,
I mean, there aren't, when you think about, I mean, when you think about heading up the hill, well, there aren't that many roads that have mailboxes on them anyway.
well, it really,
Right.
this just came up because that building, that garage they had, right?
Right.
Which is a unique thing,
Yeah,
and mailboxes are already taken care of, so it's,
Every time they blacktop a road though, you're gonna get a person coming in saying that his car just got tarred driving up the road. And that's happened every time the Branningham Road got resurfaced.
no, that's in the road right away, so that doesn't count.
That's true.
They pay to have the cars done.
Okay, so, if somebody comes in and says, the town plow smashed my water fountain, my decorative water fountain, and the employee goes, I know nothing about it. And he did, what do we do?
well, they're not plowing
Well,
outside of the right of way, so.
Right. Okay, well, except obviously that barn that it got hit, or garage,
Right.
wasn't in the right.
I mean, if it happens and somebody's here, like with the barn, and Mike goes up and says, yeah, okay, well, then we deal with it. But if the person comes back in May and the snow's melted and nobody self-reported, then I think we have to tell them tough luck.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
maybe put some verbiage in there at the discretion of the, oh, it does say that. Yeah, okay, yeah.
That barn up there, yeah, it's not in the right of way, but it is a turnaround for them. They have to turn around some places, dead end road.
Right.
And so they turned around right there, which the turnaround is not in technically the right of way, but he just,
That's what I said, this probably isn't gonna use very much, because how many times are they gonna damage something outside the right of way?
right.
You know, I mean, you have to go off the road almost, and the guy's probably gonna realize he did it.
Yeah, and if that situation up there if we were just talking about a right of way and he was driving by the guy's barn, well, chances are he wasn't gonna hit it. It was the fact that he did have to turn around there, and it's a slopes a little bit. I can see that it would be, or could be, and was a problem, but that's gotta be real rare.
Right, so I'll edit this and we'll pass it next time.
Yeah.
So we've gotten all the lights in here in the Old Town Barn have been changed over to the LED. I don't know if you've been by at night, much brighter out here with the outside LED lights. The light over the library entrance, very nice, and it hasn't burned out yet, so that's a real plus. I don't have to hear about it. No, just kidding. Our electric bill for town hall did go down for this month. Don't know if it's related or not. I don't know why it goes up as much as it does in the winter. So, well, I looked at the dollar amount. I didn't look at the kilowatt.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I have to do a deep
The way the rates are changing, who
right
knows?
on a daily basis, it seems like. Anyway, so I would like a motion to move 8K from the town maintenance reserve fund to the A1640.4 line to pay for the our portion of the upgrade of the lighting in the town hall.
So moved.
A second.
All those in favor?
I-
Opposed? Thank you. And one of the things I get every other week or every week from the county, from Tug Hill Commission, from somewhere, there was this grant from T-Mobile for playgrounds. And they give up to $50,000. And so I thought, I'm going to apply for them to cover the portions of the grant that we put in, that we said we would pay for. And I'll be very, upfront with them saying, we're trying to seek grants to cover our required match. One of the projects that we carved out 100% is that we would handle was that information kiosk. So I thought I'd put that in, and I have to go and look and see what else we carved out that we would pay for, or if there's nothing, I'll find something that we can carve out to, with their money, it would complete. I'm sure they wouldn't go for something that was like oh, well, it'll be 50% of, they want something that they could point to and say, we helped put that kiosk in, or we put that, volleyball court in, or, something like
We'll
that.
name it after.
Right, put up a flag to T-Mobile,
Right.
County Greg.
The sign is getting bigger and bigger. Anyway, so I need a motion to authorize me to apply for the T-Mobile playground grant.
Motion, second.
One of those. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to authorize me to approve the 3G Fire Department contract. We've already put it in the budget. The checks are going to be written tomorrow if you approve them.
Is it just for 3G or are you doing
We've
Lions Falls
already-
too?
Not 3G, I'm sorry, this is Lions Falls, right?
No, this says
That's
3G.
Yeah, we didn't have one. They didn't set me one for 2026. So I asked him to send me one. So he, crossed out 2025, put 2026, basically. So anyway, I know you're going to approve it, but I have to ask. So.
So we didn't, so you're talking about Lions Falls, just changed the date on it and sent it. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
it was 3G and we didn't have the we had the Lions Falls.
Oh,
we didn't have the 3G.
Okay. So Lions Falls already been taken care of.
Yeah, they were paying them both this month.
Okay.
I just need approval to sign the
I'll
contract.
make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I shouldn't probably vote on that. I'm a member.
Okay, so in applying for the grant for the playground upgrade, there was a requirement to have in place a gender-based and workplace violence policy. So,
No, you're one about resolution requesting
You
assistance,
skipped one.
oh,
short-term rental.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't see that.
Yeah, resolution requesting assistance from LC
Oh, I'm
Planning
looking on the
Department.
computer.
zoning law, short-term rental.
I must have had an old one
I'm looking on the computer and it's not on there.
This one says March 11th. Yeah, I don't know
Okay.
when it was
So
signed.
is that one.
then. Give me extra.
I think it's just in that.
You probably.
Yeah. We either got skip or we aren't doing it. Which is it?
Gave out,
Sorry about that.
Oh, it's further down.
It is further.
So
down
they're,
this
well,
one.
so they're flip-flopped on the one. And then they're,
Everything else is in order?
yeah.
Okay.
So they're there, but they're in different orders on the computer and the sheet that you printed. That's all.
Okay, so, because of the stink that was made to our county legislators by some people in the town of Gregg, because they erroneously thought the county was forcing, language into our zoning law that would make it easy for a battery energy storage system to come into town. The legislators have decided that from now on, before they give any help to a town, the town must pass a resolution requesting that help. So the legislators have a document that they can point to saying, we were requested to provide help. And it's strictly because of that event that this is happening.
So we need a resolution every time we request assistance for each individual item we request assistance for.
Does that mean like any of the 239M things would?
No, I guess, because we're submitting that application, so
No.
I think that's okay. But I need a resolution requesting that the town of Gregg receive assistance from the county to update its zoning law with respect to short-term rentals.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right, so there's this gender-based violence and the workplace policy that starting in 2025, the state was requiring anybody that applied for a grant to have this policy. And they gave you a template, which I sent you this a few weeks ago for your review. nighttime enjoyment. A lot of it is focused on if somebody is a recipient of, if you will, of domestic violence, then the town, the employer must make some allowances for them to be able to recover, to go to court, to take time off to get help, whatever. There's also a few things in here about sexual harassment and workplace violence. And so I have to go back to our workplace violence policy, see where the overlaps may be, either perhaps get rid of the workplace violence one, or at some point in the future, once I'm done, then it's not gonna happen quickly. Make a mod to this to say, see our workplace violence policy for those couple of references to workplace violence. But again, I don't know what the overlaps really are. But you had to explain, if you didn't have this, what your stance was, how you were going to remedy it, all that good stuff. So I said, well, it's the first we heard about it, and we've taken training from the Tug Hill and from the Association of Towns, and this was not brought up last year in our training, so we were not aware of it. However, we do have policies for sexual harassment, workplace violence. Here they are, and we will adopt this policy as soon as we can this year. So I don't know whether they might come back before awarding and say, we want to see your policy or not, but I would like us to adopt the policy. And likely there will be some changes to the sexual harassment and the.
Do you do things differently based on gender?
It's the strangest wording. I understand. That's the first thing I thought when I read it, was like, why would you do things different based on gender? But it doesn't say you do that. But it's basically, if people are subject to gender-based violence.
Okay.
You know,
So one of the guys in the highway department could say his wife beat him up and he needs some time off from work or something.
right, if he's got sick time available, we have to allow him to take that sick time for that purpose. We don't have to give it to him if he doesn't have the sick time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not I can get some extra time.
No. So, anyway, I'm looking for a motion to adopt this policy, and I will, sometime in the next few months, try to get those 3 policies so that they align with each other.
The only thing I would say is just be careful reviewing your sexual harassment policy, because I'm sure that was based on a different state form. So if we're adjusting one to accommodate the other, you might find, I don't know, you might be in a situation where you have conflicting policies in order to comply with 2 different departments' directives.
I see.
That's a possibility. So
Good
it
point.
doesn't hurt to go through them and see where they contradict though.
Yeah, right. Hopefully they're in alignment.
I'll make a motion to get back into a corner with these things.
Well, that's the thing. I can't apply for the next grant.
Well, at Craft, we had a situation where a person was going through a sex change. And our policy said that once they had started their hormones and stuff like that, they could change in the men's locker room, but still had girl parts.
Right.
So then all the gentlemen are coming up to HR because now they're put in a position, are we gonna get sexual harassment because
Yeah.
we glanced the wrong way or like walk in at the wrong time or whatever? Like it gets to be a very slippery slope.
It comes up with, because I'm on the school board for Bee River in the context of the changing rooms for the gymnasiums, for the locker rooms. It gets discussed. I'll
Yeah.
just say that.
But then she was offended because like we tried to give her own space to change. That way it wasn't offending anybody. And then she was offended because she wasn't being treated like what she was trying to
That's everybody.
transfer to.
Not being included.
It's fun.
I see that. I can now officially report that we did win the 5K grant.
Wait, you never got a second on that motion?
I second it.
Oh,
We didn't vote on it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. the governor announced the awards on Wednesday, just on Tuesday, of a lot of different grants. So now we can officially let the public know that we won this grant for $125,000 to update our zoning law. Probably Grace is going to start the administration. We've already had a meeting with the DEC. But then it will transition over to, why am I blanking on her name? Lauren Taball, who's been doing the comprehensive plan administration for us at the county level.
DEC granted the,
Yeah, it's a DEC Adirondack Park, something or other grant.
wow.
That was there, we got our comprehensive
Right.
plan grant,
Same-
right? That was some kind
Same
of.
group, yeah, same office. We're working with the same woman who's been very nice to work with there.
So are we, does the county then help us? Did they help us with a request for proposals?
Yep.
Do we need to pass a resolution for that?
No. That one, they, we'll say that request for support, that was, grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the goal is to get that RFP out there. We know of two people that provided us with, I'll say quotes, but not really. It was, it was rough quotes for us to put into the.
So we're advertising for applications to help us with.
We're going to advertise for a consultant to help us.
Now, is the county managing the advertisement, receipt of applications and opening of bids?
They are going to work on the statement of work, which we'll review. I think we'll handle the.
We did the bid opening for the
They're just,
comprehensive.
they're just handling the admin of things. Right, they'll submit.
So we
requests for-
came in for a special meeting for the bid.
It'll be a contract
Bids
with
will
us.
come to the town of Greg.
What?
All bids will come to the town
Yes.
of Greg and be opened in a board meeting.
Right. For the comprehensive plan, we did have two bidders for input to the proposal, but when it came time to make, to get a final bid, the one company said they were too busy, they weren't interested, so we only had one person to go with, so that was pretty straightforward. Okay. I don't really have any update on the door lock at the highway garage. I believe he's done some work there because previously the push bar had a hole in it where they would stick a cotter pin to keep it open. No longer has that push bar there. But I don't know that the mechanism inside the door itself has been changed yet. I didn't get an update from Paul.
The push bar is Panic Hardware. They're planning on putting that back, right?
Oh, the push bar is, there is a push bar there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a new one. It doesn't have that hole in it.
Okay.
So that part, I
It
guess,
operates the latch?
yes,
Okay.
that part I guess he's replaced. But
It's not just for convenience.
Yeah, no, right.
It's a requirement.
And you'll see, he billed us for completion of the work in the hall. He does owe us for changing the locks down at the park. Right now, the girls' bathroom and the storage room have one key. The boys' bathroom has another key. And I just asked him to get them keyed the same. It's really silly. And he's got that written in there. I commit to doing that once I can get to the building.
Yeah.
One thought, he hasn't given us the extra push button lock that we have because we had originally ordered two and then we decided not to lock that first door.
The outer door, yeah.
Could put it on the library door,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
I would think it would be, otherwise what's gonna happen to it? It'll never get used.
right. So
We might gotta put it into use, and I think, well, after we talked to Carrie, that it made sense that if they have someone who is no longer volunteering, or maybe somebody they didn't want to have access to the library again, they can just change the code and it's easy for them to do it.
okay.
So then he would have to put that on there at additional cost, or no, Well, he was gonna out here
That's true.
anyways.
You're right. You're right. Good point. Good point. I'll ask about that.
All right.
I'll ask Carrie to double check with her. that she-
Yeah.
That she wants that. Electric service invoices, so, I sent the one at National Grid something that I found more detail online about, you can't charge us, more than 12 months. And, well, so I said, okay, you can't, only if the company did, stupid stuff. And so I said, all right, I called you on this date, and this was the discussion, and this is what you said you would do. I called you again on this date, and this is what I said, this is clearly an issue with the company, not performing its job. So I think that rule applies. So she came back and said, thank you for providing me this information. Be very helpful in my discussions. So today it was, or yesterday it was, 2 years. They'll go back 2 years. So that's shaving 6 months off anyway, potentially. Still give us the credit. She doesn't have final numbers yet. Extended the hold on the account. She said, I said, I'm going to, last month I paid the monthly bill as well as the agreement, whatever it was, $200, because I don't want things to build up. She said, no, you don't need to do that. Let's wait till we got the final number, and I can update what the agreement cost is going to be for you monthly to pay it back. So you won't see that bill this month. But why it takes them this long, I have no idea whatsoever. It should be very straightforward at this point. They've got all the bills. They know, they're only going to do 2 years. They're going to give us a credit. It just seems like it should be very straightforward at this point. So we signed the contract with Hodge Creek for the dam repair. We went through that, right? So that's good. I am hopeful. I know Scott Hunt was nervous. Report on the comprehensive plan. The draft is with the county for approval for their comments. So it's been, that's the second draft. There was an initial draft. Megan read through it, and I know it's a pretty large document. Like one night, gave us some comments, and then we managed to get it submitted. We had to have it submitted by last Friday to meet the deadline for the review for this month, so that we can have a public hearing next month to pass it, which was our goal, was to get it done in time for us to basically almost kick off the grant for updating the zoning law, just as we finish the comprehensive plan. So there's some more comments she sent. There's some things she wasn't particularly happy about. Again, these are unofficial because they're not the whole planning board voting on these comments, but she wanted to get my take on them. And, there were some recommendations that, get more signage on the trails, right? And obviously the town's not responsible for that. We don't own the trails, right? But as I told her, I interpreted that meaning, all right, we've heard from our constituents that they would like more signage on the trails. And so we were going to ask the county, we're going to ask the clubs, would they put more signage on the trails, right? We'll go into detail if we get some more detail from, people that voice that opinion. But yes, we aren't responsible, but we're going to let the people that are responsible know that this has been a request. Just like, they wanted a little more law enforcement visibility especially for the weekends and stuff that are holiday weekends, right? And so that's not our responsibility, but we can request it, which we have done in the past, right? We requested it from the Adirondack Park. We requested it from the county. So I didn't have a problem with those things being in there as saying the town should do what it can do to help with those problems. So that was one of her comments. We're gonna have to have a phone call because there's one comment I didn't quite understand what her issue was. But anyway, we're grinding toward the completion. It's, yay thick, so I'm gonna print out one copy, have it here for people that wanna come and look at. Is it posted on the website? It's not posted on the website yet, right?
What's that?
That final comprehensive plan, or is it?
Oh, no.
No, okay. So we'll do that anyway, knowing that there might be some small changes based on input from.
I was waiting for that 10-day window to open. I was gonna come,
Oh, wait till then?
well, then we'd have the plan as the county approved it. And
Right, that's true.
all the final wordings done. I mean,
Right.
why have iterative steps out there? already?
I just wanted to give more than 10 days, but as soon as we get the county comments and update it, we'll put it, whether it's 10 days or 20 days or whatever, but minimum of 10 days. So that's where we are. We're almost done. I think we talked about dog license fees last month, and we're pretty much,
Well, no, the wonderment was, are we up to date with the rest of the county? So I pulled the other clerks, and our dog license fees are exactly the same as everybody else's, 20 and 10, non-spayed and spayed. And the only thing that they've done differently is when they send out the renewal notices, which we do here, they put a $10 for the first month late and $20 for the second month late. And then I think that's the max. I think they just go $20. So it's a $10 or $20 penalty fee for renewing late. And we have not done that, so I don't know how much money it gathers, but that's something they've done differently.
How much of a problem does that make for the clerk
Oh, no.
when people are late?
No, the dog license software exposes when the renewal is gonna happen, when it should have happened, and when you're actually doing it, so you know you're more than a month out. And we print the renewal notices at the beginning of every month anyway and mail them, so
Okay. So they'll get it in the mail. They'll know already and have a chance to
have a month to pay it.
absorb it before they come in.
If people license their dog and then don't renew it, anything happen? But nobody goes out.
No, we don't.
we could let Bobby Mara know that
Right, but we don't.
she needs to visit.
That doesn't get done. I'm just thinking that late thing, if anything, might deter people from,
That's what I'm thinking too.
I'm thinking, I mean, I don't have a dog anymore. My last dog, I had 14 years. Never even occurred to me to get a license. I didn't even think about it. Just wasn't on my radar.
Well, if the dog got picked up along the way,
Right.
you pay a significant amount of money.
Or if it bit somebody or something, then
Yeah.
that can be an issue.
Just, I didn't even think about it.
Get the dog out of jail fee is about $130, so.
Okay, so sounds like,
Yeah. I think where we.
I don't think we're gonna gain a whole lot of money. if we-
Well, let's just leave it as is then and not make work for ourselves.
I can't. I agree with Steve. I think it might deter people from actually.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but I can understand that.
The other thing that had been proposed from the animal control people here to the supervisors was, what brought this whole thing up was there's an automated dog licensing system. A company proposes to come in and do it lock, stock, and barrel. And they went to the supervisors. Well, it's the clerks that do all this stuff, all the bookkeeping. We have an obligation to report to the state every single month how many licenses we issue. We have to send the state's portion of the licensing fees to the state, as you see in my clerk's report. And so the clerks, when faced with this, said, nah, let the clerks keep on doing it. We're doing it. We've all got software that does it automatically for us, tracks it, and supports it. And so we don't want another company coming in. But the question was, how would they make any money? Because they were gonna charge the county a blanket amount to assuming that all the towns would jump on board and let them do it. And it was gonna cost the town $333 if all the towns, 17 towns in the county went with the program. A one-time charge, lifetime for then you go, well, how's that company continue to make money? Well, what they do is they sell personalized dog tags when they license your dog. And then they have all these fancy things, add-ons. And so when you want to get a tag for your dog, you spend
Oh, merchandise.
30, yeah, they're
Tag and
selling
swag.
merch. They're selling merch. And so they make their money selling the merch on the side is what they do. But they claim that then they would turn around. The other thing is, this may surprise you, but a lot of people don't even know what township they live in. They go to register a dog.
I believe that.
I got people from Glenfield and the River Road area over in there trying to license dogs here. You're not in the town of Gregg. Oh, I don't know where I am, but I want to license my dog. And so anyway, they were going based on your home address, physical address. They do a GPS marker thing and say this residence is in the town of Gregg. And then they would automatically forward the money they collected for the license to the town of Gregg. So it'd be a duplication of records, really. We'd have to take the license money and separate it and send our portion of the state and keep the balance here. So it just didn't seem like it was.
Were they gonna do a dog census or?
No, no, that's up to each township.
I mean, I could see them being motivated to do that.
Well, if if it's something for the board to consider, catching people like you, then it's up to you. And the last one I can remember is when Stanford lived in Branningham there behind the old post office.
Yeah.
He took the job on one year and went out and knocked on every single door. And do you have a dog resident here? And if so, let's get the license going here. And my God, that was years ago.
Yeah.
And in fact, the county manager moved in Lake on the pond over here off Bartle Joe Road and reported two dogs escaped from her property, and she was on the hunt for them. Posted the big thing on Facebook and everything, so I wrote her a letter. And I said, it would have been nice if the county manager had licensed her dogs in the town.
Oh, Liz, when she was,
Which she probably did do. But I feel sorry, like Miss Woodrick on Chase Lake Road, she comes in. Now she's almost a kennel, well, she might be a kennel. She's got 5 breeding dogs.
her and Luke, right?
Yeah, the planning board gave him a permit, right?
Yeah.
I got kennel.
Yeah, she got a whole kennel there. My gosh, she comes in and writes a check for 300 and some bucks.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a big controversy. The neighbors with the barking dog.
Remember the Canadians that lived there?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And they wanted to expand it. Oh, my
And then Ron Nelken told them, you don't even live in this country. You shouldn't have to have anything to do. He just got sick of them.
He told them that?
Read the planning board meeting. You don't even live in this country. You shouldn't have any input in this.
One Canadian family still living in the town of Gregg, or still owning property in the town of Gregg. We used to have 2.
Higgins. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, they still know.
Super nice people.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on going out and identifying a specialist attorney, not necessarily putting him to work yet, but basically what we're trying to do is come up, people have been giving me names of different specialists, engineering specialists, safety specialists, things like that. And what I think folks would like us to do is identify an attorney that would be advising us through the process if the best did come into town, and get them on retainer, which doesn't cost us anything, right? Just to put them on retainer.
Depends on what they say,
Uh-huh.
because sometimes they'll want money up front. But
Retainer,
I mentioned before, there's a strong preference in favor of planning boards having separate counsel anyways. Now, our planning board doesn't need an attorney on a regular basis, but that was part of my motivation with encouraging this. Because the planning board's objectives aren't necessarily the same as the town's objectives, and that puts municipal council in an awkward situation when they're not lined up. So they may agree to it, but only insofar as they're advising the planning board.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to go giving anybody money at this point, but I don't think it hurts to identify people who say, yeah, let us know, we'd be interested in talking to you, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see the value of that.
Just to save a little time when.
Right.
Well, yeah, I don't wanna get down to like D-Day and all of a sudden they're like, oh, I have too much going on, I can't take your case, oh, I got,
Or we don't even have any names because we haven't
Right.
looked around
Right.
or anything, you know.
Because your deadline is so short for once that application gets accepted by the planning board. It was like 62 days to set the public hearing, 62 days then act on it, so.
So we basically have a few names, like you said, if they are, what we can't do it, well,
Right.
maybe a couple
How do
options.
you find specialty firms like that?
Well,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. I have a list of,
Oh, you do?
of.
I can give you a
firms that-
couple of,
Right.
most of the large, I mean, basically, there's a couple with municipal law, which is all land use law is wrapped up in it. Most of the local towns and villages hire somebody local like me, who's kind of like a jack of all trades. There are firms in Syracuse where they have wings of their office that's just the municipal department, and they're absolute experts, and they cost 3 times as much. But so that's where you go when you want that really specialized kind of advice.
Right.
Yeah.
And you had said, Barclay Damon is certainly one that you would recommend, but
Yeah.
again, you didn't know some of the other firms that were brought up. But yeah, people have been giving me lists of, I'd asked people to, I made it clear that I can't be focused on this issue. And do all this other stuff too. And they understood that. And so like Jim and Bill, and others, they've been digging in and trying to identify these.
Well, just like Jim had that email about, okay, here's some engineers who might be interested.
Right.
Okay, good. But let's just, okay, keep that list in our back pocket.
Yep.
I don't think we should.
Started a dialogue with them, right?
yeah.
We discussed the short-term rental law, discussed text messaging. Okay. So, we've all heard at multiple meetings that people would like another way of communicating, and they all wanted text messaging. And so we've had this company, TextMyGov, talk to us multiple times, met with Tom and he did a demonstration with Tom and showed him how easy it is to push out text messages. According to research, 97% of smartphone owners text regularly. Okay. So the way it would work is we would get a number that's unique to us. It's typically one of those like 6 or 7 digit numbers that you see sometimes from your bank or whatever. And that would be the same, so they could recognize it and not block it, hopefully. They could provide us with a list of phone numbers based on pulling from a post office database. They did that already, and they came up with over 2,000 phone numbers. But that's because there are postal routes in the town of Gregg that also serve Lyons Falls and Glenfield.
Mhm.
So you got some people from there. And so Tom and I discussed it. And we said, well, I think the best thing for us to do is probably just let people know to opt in. Text your number or text our number and say yes, and you'll be in the database and you'll be receiving notices from us.
Maybe we could even have like, all those QR codes, like a printout and like put it out in public places or something.
They give you that type of poster
Okay,
as part of it to publicize, have a QR code for scanning purposes. So yeah, they give you all that to try to get people enrolled. They have, it's 50,000 text messages a year. They roll over if you don't use them. So even if we got a third of the taxpayers to sign up, which is 500, so I discounted the state parcels and I discounted parcels where the same person owns multiple, and we came up with like 1,450 when we mailed out the comprehensive plan. So say 1,500, a third of them register, that's 500. That's quite a few text messages a month to get to 50,000 text messages, right? So that's 100 times. So, it's about 8 text messages a month, which I'm sure would not be.
To each number, you mean?
Yeah, to each number.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
So I think 50,000 is a reasonable number. They can do things like text questions in, and we can have automated replies. So what hours is the clerk open? They'll get an automated reply that gives them the hours for the clerk. What hours are the green dump open? I wouldn't have to take that call anymore. And it would tell them what the hours for the green dump are. Tree fell across Brangham Road and blocked it. You send out a text message saying, be careful, take alternate routes. That type of thing. They have 2 levels. One is about $400 cheaper than the other, $500 cheaper than the other. The second level supports emails as well. We've got that capability in our website too, so we could do that. So that's not the main reason for going for it. They give you more advertisement stuff, and they do it on a periodic basis. So you can, like once a year, maybe put out your posters, try to get more people signed up. But the thing I really like about it is it gives you a survey capability. We went through the other day with me with how to create a survey, and it's really pretty easy. They've got lots of canned questions, canned responses. They've already got, you write your question in and you pick, okay, this is a yes, no, this is a scale 1 to 5. This is, it's all there. You just kind of drag it and drop it in. And then you can text people and say, we have this survey to find out what you feel about enforcing cemetery rules, right?
Okay.
Or, whatever we want. Do you think the town should paint the building green? Or, whatever you want to do for the survey. And I think that's another way of getting people's input, that they can't complain that we're not seeking their input.
Yeah.
So it's not tremendously, like I said, it's a step up in price. And, we'll know how effective it is based on how many people sign up and how many people respond to any surveys that we put out. And you get 50,000 emails per year, 10 gigabytes of online data storage, mass emailing. You can do voice calls if you wanted to. There's weather alerts and stuff, but I said we get enough weather alerts between Ring doorbells and what's her name, Alexa, and whatever app on your phone. So Facebook integration. Anyway, so they are, as I think we told you before, there's it's $2,700 for the advanced plan and a 50% for the first year to set everything up. And that would come to $4,000 for the first year. They're willing to cut the setup fee in half to $650 if we want to go with them. So the first year price would be $3,350, and subsequent years would be $2,700. It's a 5-year agreement. 3-year agreement, sorry, 3-year agreement. The other 3 years, and we can reevaluate and see whether it's something we want to continue to pay for. The rate holds for the 3 years, it doesn't go up. They said they really haven't been raising their rates, but they have something in the contract that says that if we do raise our rate, it won't be more than 5% or something like that. So I'm in favor of trying it. We got enough input that says people want it, that it's worth trying, I think. Just like doing the YouTube is worth trying.
So you gotta have $4,000 in the budget someplace to
You gotta
put
find
towards it.
$4,000 in the budget, which we have the contingency account, which we can tap into for that purpose. What do y'all think?
I don't know. I think 90% of it is all information that can be found on the website. And I don't understand why it's so difficult to just go to the website to find this information.
I'm not disagreeing with you. If it's,
And I'm also wondering, I mean, when we say there's a demand, how much demand is it? Was there 10 people at the meeting who?
Beyond the gallery that was here, you mean?
Yeah,
You have
Well, there's how many
influencers.
residents in the town, even when we had a full meeting, say there's 40 people here, that's a pretty small fraction of the people in the town. If only 10 of those people wanted this texting thing, I mean, how many people, I don't see people beating the door down for this.
But if you've got an influencer in the town, like obviously we have, she spots anything on the town's website, she's gonna broadcast it to everybody.
and we just saved ourselves $4,000.
I just think if people were that interested, they could go to the website. If they have a smartphone, they can go to the website for that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it really twisted my tail when they were like, oh, well, we aren't provided with it. And then we told them where it was on the website, like, we're hiding our monthly meetings. No, that's public information if you know where to look for it, or if you just memorize second Wednesday of every month, you know, at such and such time. I mean, it's not
Right. I mean,
like we're having secret
we're
meetings.
posting the agenda, we're posting the minutes, and we're posting the meeting
Well, I
times.
applaud Bob for this effort right here. This is gonna be tremendous.
Yeah.
Anybody that has the ambition to wanna do it can sit and watch a meeting at their own time, at their own home.
Yeah, but that's another thing. I feel like he put a ton of effort into that, and I'm not so sure.
They're gonna use it.
Used.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I feel the same
Well,
way about this.
I mean, look at the moratorium. I mean, I could have cried tears when he said he found a way to make that work. Like I thought we'd passed a window and we couldn't do it anymore. So when he's like, I can do it, like, and we can make this work and we can use the comprehensive plan, like, I was thrilled. What did he get for that? He didn't even get a attaboy. I mean, it was frustrating.
people, as I tell my wife when she complains that I don't notice the things that get done, it's like, people don't notice when things are the way they're supposed to be. They only notice when they're not the way they're supposed to.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, they'll give me an attaboy in November, or they won't. So.
Right, that's your time to shine. Or not.
So, okay, I mean,
I'm looking at the batter's box and there's nobody behind you.
Yeah, that's what I giggled. They were all like so upset and like wanting to string up Bob, and it's like, he ran unopposed. Like, none of you cared.
all right.
So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it myself.
I think it's a lot of money for not a lot of reward for information that they could get out there.
I'd say we test this and see how many subscribers we get. We'll
Yeah.
publicize this a little bit, that this is a
We can
capability.
table it, right? It's nothing we have to decide
No,
on.
we'll just lose in theory, we'll lose the discount,
The discount.
because it was good till like March 20th or
I
something.
bet you they'll have another discount.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. Yep.
I
I'm just-
like that idea, is that let's see how things
Yeah.
go with this arrangement and how many people are, really.
Well, look at this. We're 4
Interested in it.
meetings down the road. And what's the participation we got tonight compared to,
It reminds me of when we were gonna build this building, we sent out postcards to everybody in the town so they would know we had 3 public information meetings, and I think the grand total for all 3 of those meetings was like 12 people came.
Well, the
And
comprehensive plan.
so we sent the postcards so they wouldn't be able to say, I didn't know about it. We didn't just post it in the paper. We went
Right.
over and above, and
Send it directly to them.
I feel like this is the same kind.
You should have texted them.
Yeah, exactly.
So with this arrangement, you're gonna know if people are watching this though?
Yeah, you can tell how many people watched.
Right, and I know you get real time. I don't know, I imagine you do, but I haven't checked to see if you get, for people who view it after it's posted.
Oh, no, you'll see that.
You'll see those
Shows how many
statistics.
people viewed it.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we can,
Plus that YouTube will pay you with a million subscribers, you'll make a nice penny.
that's nice. We'll have to start with ads. Anyway, okay, so we'll table it for now and assess the need after we see how much this gets used.
Sounds good.
So the next thing was, again, we're live to a very select audience right now, just to make sure things worked out. That the audio quality was good. Picture quality, when I looked at it at home on the big screen, the replay of the test Tom and I did yesterday, wasn't that great, but my wife did text and say, picture quality was much better. And she noticed when the audio went out, and I said, well, executive session, so she, so
far so good.
real-time testing.
Well, I know it came through nice.
Loud and clear.
I think we talked about this. Was it the comprehensive plan meeting then? So next month, our meeting is April the 15th. April the 15th.
So we're moving the meeting next week?
So because I have doctor's appointments that day and Thursday in Rochester, I'm not going to be able to be here. And I'm sure you guys can carry on quite well without me, but that is going to be the day for the public hearing on the comprehensive plan. So I kind of wanted to be here for that. So I would like to move the April meeting. Oh, wait, it's going to be on the 8th. I'm
Right.
sorry, 8th.
That's what I was
wanna
like,
Move it to the 15th. Sorry.
okay,
You want
gotcha.
to move it to the 15th?
Move it to the 15th.
Same time.
Yeah, same time. Is everybody okay with that?
And the public hearing will, well, I guess you're gonna get to that,
But that would be that night.
would be that night starting at 5:30.
So do we need to have
A motion for both, a motion to change the meeting date and a motion to hold the public hearing.
right, so can I have a motion to change the meeting for just the April, from April the 8th to April the 15th? Same bat time, same bat channel.
Motion.
A second.
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, and at that meeting at 5:30,
Yes.
we would like to have a public hearing on the comprehensive, on passing the comprehensive, or adopting the comprehensive plan. The
Public acceptance of that.
public
So
acceptance.
the county is looking, when's the county's meeting?
Are they the 3rd, like the 20th or the 19th of March?
Good.
And so we would have, they usually get us there.
So we're assuming it's not gonna be anything we can't revise
Right.
before the.
Especially given a meeting on the 15th.
Well, I agree with Tom. It'd be nice if we post, what we post before the meeting is the final, so that
Nobody's
confusion about, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the agenda, you know, the final version or the,
I just keep thinking of it. It's where things keep popping up. Okay, so can I have a motion to set the public hearing for adoption of the comprehensive plan for April the 15th at 5:30 PM?
I'll make a motion.
Also.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Historian lobby update. So this is what I got from Michelle. So so what she wants to do is to, using period colors, as in, 1700, 1800-ish colors, paint the bottom wall out in the lobby a darker color, top a lighter color, and then she's having this timeline mural that would be put up. And so we need to have the lobby painted. And so I said, well, before we decide on us doing it, we'll see what it costs to have a professional come in and paint it. And my concern is the doors, because they're in really good shape. The paint on them is really good. So I know they did something really good for those. And I hate to just slap some paint on them and they start
And then
flaking
that's
too.
crappy, yeah.
So the one quote I got was from Miller Painting Services at, I got one quote. I don't know if I should say it. And it's a small dollar amount. I know we don't have the same rules, but we were unsure whether that was high or low. That just labor only, didn't include the paint. So there's another painter coming in on Monday to give us a quote.
So is this to paint the lobby?
Just the lobby, yeah, 2 colors. That was labor only. And there's definitely work to be done, taking signs off the door,
Sure.
things like that.
Is one of those that's gonna give a price, is he the one from up in Branningham? Claude Levesque?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not pushing for him or anything, but because he is a resident and a taxpayer, that I'd like him to be considered.
Michelle talked about picking the colors or?
Yeah, she's got a list of period colors from Sherwin-Williams.
I don't know what that means. 1,700, 1,800 colors.
Oh, not that many colors from the
Well, that
time
might be the
period.
same color.
They
No,
won't
but
be-
I mean,
They
they had
won't
the
be
same
bright, I'll
colors.
bet you.
They had the
They will
same
not be.
colors then that we have now, so I don't know.
No, there's certain paint colors they didn't have because the pigments were expensive.
And there's certain gloss, there's gotta be a certain glossiness.
That
Yeah,
Sean
I heard
Ward
of that. I don't know.
that did the
I don't know what that
Branningham
means.
sign,
Tom Ward,
no, Sean,
Sean Ward.
he comes into the store quite often too. That might be another one to, if we need, I don't know how many quotes we need or whatever,
Oh,
but
yeah, I did a
I
second.
tried to give him Doug Hunt's number up there, but when I looked up Doug Hunt, I found DV Painting, and I'm not sure that that's Doug Hunt's company or not.
Yeah, that's what
yeah, I think this
you
is,
know-
I think he does it right through Sean Ward Painting, if I remember right.
Doug does?
No, that's Sean
Sean
Ward that
Ward.
did the sign up in Branningham.
I thought Debbie did the sign and bring.
No.
Do you know if Doug's got a card or something in?
I have never seen where he
Oh, okay.
had that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So is the mural, is that something that
She
Michelle is
should do.
giving?
It's gonna be the pictures and it's gonna be, she's gonna have like a stencil with like times, the periods that she's gonna put under it. It should, from the different town halls I've been in, going to superintendent's meeting or supervisor's meeting and stuff, it'll be the best looking entrance hall. And it's a pretty nice setup here too compared to other towns.
Information. Phone
Well,
number.
you didn't see our old building.
Would have a lot more wall space. Yeah. Or smell it.
Yeah.
I think he has a camp up here or something. I don't know when it says that, but
Okay, Ward.
he's the one that did that green and yellow sign right going into Branningham.
Okay. With respect to veterans banners, she's solicited official quotes from 3 hometown hero companies. The average cost is $225 for banners lasting about a year, and the longer lasting banners, 2 to 3 years, up to $375. Once we have quotes back, we can look at the prices, decide if we want to fully fund the banners or if we're going to request partial funding from family and friends. Clearly, we'll have to have the wiggle room in the budget, or we have to fundraise. Perhaps the first year, do we want to look at purchasing 15 and we just carry it on from there? So that was her input. So hopefully by next meeting, she'll have the official quotes in. I mean, I can't see spending $225 for a banner that will last no more than 2 years.
I can't either.
I mean, I know you're proud of your family person that's served the country,
If
but
something costs that much, it'll last more than a year.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would think so too. So I can't see going with that.
I think they're kind of a distraction myself.
I know I drive through Lowell and I'd like to
Yeah.
look at it, but I'm gonna go right off the road.
I know.
Right?
I'm never a passenger, so I'm always kind of.
I'm always looking to see who they are. Oh, yeah, that sounds like a Loudville name. Oh,
Let's look
yeah.
at the mailboxes.
I did.
So there's a few things not on the agenda. We had this issue come up with providing insurance certificates to the DEC as part of the process of getting this grant going.
Right.
And they asked for insurance showing coverage for family and medical leave. And NYMER, who is our insurance carrier, said, oh, you don't have it. You opted out of providing family and medical leave in 2018. Here's a letter from the supervisor at the time saying that you opted out. And I have Bill Schwab saying, you guys have been paying for it. So anyway, we had a bunch of forms that I had to get the accountants to fill out, and mine were supposed to be getting back to me. But there was no, Tom looked, I looked, there was no resolution passed by a board at that time saying we didn't want, it was just a letter. Maybe there was a discussion at the board meeting. I don't know, but a letter sent.
Mark Gibo presented the option, and Maryland, the board never voted. Maryland took his advice and wrote the letter opting out of the plan.
So that was his
But we've
advice.
been paying for it though, you said, so.
She never canceled the insurance payment.
So, apparently counties, municipalities aren't required to carry it.
Yeah.
They can opt out of it. And so that letter was the opting out, but I didn't know how you guys felt about it.
But we didn't opt out because
Financially, we didn't have to.
That's what, I'm not sure whether they might say, if you would come to us with a claim, we would have had to pay because we charged you, or whether Bill was mistaken and that, he thought they charged us when he wrote up the bill, but they really didn't charge us for that. He's sort of the intermediate person that, can understand insurance ease and translate that into English and whatnot. And so he may have interpreted the policy as, yes, you're covered, but the little box is not checked on the form from NYMER. So anyway, I was just bringing it up to you that you, I don't want to change any policy we had, but it really wasn't a policy. You're all okay with not providing FMLA?
Well, was it a requirement through DEC or something?
It wasn't, no, because municipalities can opt out of it.
Okay.
So it's
So
not,
they wanted, if we had it,
but if we had it, we would have to provide it.
yeah, so that was one of the forcing us to do it.
Yeah. Not that, so far, no. She was happy with what we gave her, which was one that didn't have that
Well,
box.
that's been our
Well,
quote unquote policy. I'm happy with that.
Me too.
So we did the resolution to ask the county's help on STRs. I need a motion to move $14,500 from the dam repair reserve fund into the water account number. SW 8310.4, which is the account for paying contractual stuff.
8310?
Yeah, SW 8310.4, from dam repair reserve fund to SW 8310.4 to pay for the repair cost to the dam.
So moved.
Second. Nope. All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Let's see. So the last thing, it's not on your agenda, it's on the agenda, is, I don't know if any of you saw that little news article in Northern New York 360 or wherever it was, where there was an abandoned four-wheeler found in the town of Gregg.
Yes.
Right, so the state police contacted me and said the 10-day hold or whatever is up, and you are now the proud owners of a 1995 Suzuki four-wheeler that was abandoned. And it's sitting, Monnet Brothers towed it. They have it.
Who paid Monnet Brothers for towing it?
Nobody's paid yet. So it just so happens that one of the fellows that works at Monnet Brothers is also on the Lowville RACOG representative. And we've been working together on this Raycog visioning subcommittee. And he called me a few days ago and said, just to let you know, we towed an ATV, it's a piece of crap. Well, don't worry, we won't charge the town towing charges. But at some point, the police are gonna release it to you, and if you want us just to get rid of it, we'll be happy to get rid of it for you. So, don't know what you wanna do with it. It clearly doesn't run, or nobody would have abandoned it. It's been spray painted over its original color. The VIN did not trace back to anybody that claimed ownership of it. So
Yeah, because it was named 4 or 5 times on there who owned it. But
they said they got
obviously,
tips, but they didn't pan out to somebody that they could say definitely owned it.
definitely owns it.
So I don't know whether you want to bring it here and try and sell it as is for whatever people would want to pay for it. It's 30 years old.
It's at Monmouth right now?
Yeah.
I'd tell them to dispose of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine how much we'd get for it.
Yeah, it's not gonna
Yeah.
have any
When
value.
30 years old and it doesn't run.
Paid the towing fee.
And it looks pretty rough.
There's too many of them out there that do run, that people be interested in. I wouldn't even monkey with it.
Okay. And that's what Mom said, just call us and let us know. I'm sure there's some paperwork I gotta sign for it. But all right, that's what we'll do with it. Superintendent's report. He is a man of few words. You probably don't mind this time.
Yippee.
Uh-huh. They've just been servicing the equipment and getting ready for spring work. Pretty much all they've been doing. Okay.
Good. That's good, Mike.
So we'll want to get out into the media as much as possible, the change in the date for our April meeting. So that
Yeah.
people aren't saying we're trying to hide.
Which too bad we don't have a way to text everybody.
Yeah.
It's being televised right now.
Right, all those people will know.
Hey, I can see the finances thing.
Probably the best way to advertise it is put a notice on the door on April 8th.
No
The meeting is
tonight.
April 15th.
That'd be a week's notice, right?
For anybody that's interested. We'll find out then if they didn't already know.
We got the franchise tax in from Charter and it went down. As you can see. Right. So note to self for doing next year's budget, assuming I'm doing I am doing next year's budget. That I need to be less optimistic about how much they're.
And you only got the money on basic cable anyway.
Oh, yeah, well, wonder where that agreement comes for renewal. So we'd have to change that.
Well, I'm thinking about it. Starlink is putting up 1,000 new satellites. I don't think the life of the cell towers has got much left to go. I think all cell phones are gonna go to satellite pretty quick. If cell towers exist in another 6 years, I'll be amazed.
The bandwidth won't be the same, I don't think.
Oh, sure.
You think so?
Oh, it's greater and the speed's greater. Guaranteed.
Clashes with my low Earth orbit satellite knowledge about what they're capable of.
Yeah, but it's a mesh.
Well, I understand some, like the cell phone towers are. But the Iridium satellite, you could send data on that, but it was limited to like.
The latency is hardly, it's
Really?
nothing. It's nothing.
Okay. So we should be at 83%. That's correct for monthly employees, unless there's a mistake by the accountant. Central garage, we're off on that due to the down payment to the locksmith and paying the monthly underbill from National Grid. So those were, we made our first payment, additional payment to National Grid last month. I wrote the check for the locksmith last month, the down payment, because we approved doing the work. So, but you'll see that for your approval in this month. So we're down there, and we know based on the increase in electric bills, we're going to have to update this budget line at some point. But until we get a handle on that.
Did the Justice Department ever get a grant?
Yes, she did get the grant.
Is that gonna help impact the door lock situation or not?
No, I think it was all for cameras. I haven't seen the details of the grant, but I know she was going for additional cameras. And in particular, I had talked to her about ones over on the town barn facing this way so we could get license plates, which we didn't do before because it was going to be more expensive because it wasn't on the same local area network there as it is here.
A lot of police cars this week.
Yes, there were.
Oh my gosh. They were led in jumpsuits.
Here they were?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, there was a stream of, my golly.
Yeah, it was, besides the guy coming and talking to me. So this isn't at, the central communication system isn't at 83%, just because there was one bill that carried over from December that got paid in January. Central print and mailing is not at 83% because we put out so many darn notices already this year. That's really hitting us. It's all the meetings we've been having. So here, the central data processing is front loaded because we got to pay the licenses for the firewall. That comes up in January, but also the hard drive on one of the laptops died, and Tim fixed that. You paid that bill last month. I haven't got the laptop yet though. He promised it this week. That's the laptop I was going to use to do this, but I'm using the zoning officer's laptop at the moment for that. Not that that's a big deal. Unallocated insurance that gets paid at the beginning of the year. Another one of these where we paid the December bill in January. So that's why that one's slightly off. But all in all, we're in good shape in the A account, except for what's going to happen with the electric.
I can't believe they let it drag out that long. That just
I know it. They're
blows my mind. Well, no wonder they're overcharging the rest of us if they have more than that going on.
You drag it on the
Yeah.
All right. So the snow budget, personnel services snow budget through February was at 64%, but that's only a 5-month budget, right? We'd like to charge 5 months to that budget. So we're actually in decent shape on that budget. I don't expect a lot of overtime in March, cross our fingers. And then November and December typically are heavy, although this past December was heavier than normal.
But I don't think February was too bad though, right?
No, I just looked back through our invoices and it wasn't like December and January was ridiculous, and then February it was very hit and miss.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the snow removal contractual, should get that out of the way if I can, is at 53%, but that was some newfangled blades that he put on one of the plows where they adjust.
Yeah.
So that's not a recurring expense. And then the rental of the screener for the sand hit this year instead of last year when they actually did the screening. So that's not going to recur. So I don't think we're in trouble with that one. Unemployment, there was no budget here. I probably shouldn't have split the unemployment bill between A and DA. Some insurance I do, some I don't. Like disability, I have to split. So I kind of just did the same thing with that one. But in hindsight, we've never, since I've been doing this, had to pay unemployment for the guys across the parking lot. It's always been folks, town folks. So I'll probably do a cost correction on that one. Employee benefits uniforms. I don't know.
Well, I saw the bill 159.63 this month.
Yeah.
It's gone up significantly.
So there was a bunch of safety clothing that was bought this year that, I don't know, I didn't get a heads up during budget season, they were gonna buy it. So we didn't have that budget in here.
And I assume it's in their contract that they can get so much.
Yeah, I mean, we get yelled at by OSHA if they don't have chaps when they use a chainsaw and things like that.
Yeah, that's not their regular clothing allotment though.
Yeah.
Allowance.
Okay.
He's talking about something different.
It's not their boots,
Safety
it's other
equipment.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that one, as we get further through the year, I think we're gonna see that we have a problem with it. That was all the comments I had on it. We're in pretty good shape. I know we can't spend it all.
Is that safety clothing that they never had and they needed to get, or?
I think it was, some of it was replacement. I don't think I don't know for sure. I don't know if there's new rules from OSHA about additional safety equipment. Or maybe certain guys did have chaps, for example, and other guys didn't, and so we needed to get some guys the chaps. I can't answer that question, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, real quick, I did some Googling around and whatnot, and it looks like maybe for a roof, right now if we had to replace the roof, which we don't, but that'd be around $15,000 probably for standard asphalt shingle roof. And then replacing the furnace, again, it's fairly new, we don't have to, but just thinking about what money should be in the maintenance fund, that's another $15,000. So that's $30,000.
The guy that came here, by the way, from Hyde and Stone recommended that we take it off the roof and put it in a freestanding building and plumb it in. He said, if you're gonna replace the furnace, he said, that's what you need to do.
We went through that. I can
Yeah,
remember all those discussions,
I
right?
brought that up a long time ago, actually.
Yeah, and they said, no, that's a perfectly fine place for it.
Well, they had an engineer come in and he said, if we change the damper doors and the blower and the controls, it'll work a whole lot better for you. So we didn't actually replace the furnace, we just did the control system.
Oh, okay, okay. Also, we have to buy a building, so maybe it's 20, or build a building, so it's $20,000. But anyway, that comes out to 35,000. We've got 60,000 in the infrastructure repair right now. Maybe we have some work to do on the Old Town Barn, the salt eating some of those panels on the side, don't know yet if there's really anything that's actionable. I know we've got maintenance to do on the building at the town park for sure. But so I was thinking that something like $40,000 in that fund, 3% interest, that's $1,200 a year. So every 15 years, you've replaced a furnace. Every 15 years, you kind of replenish yourself automatically with bank interest. You wouldn't really have to put any more money into it every year. And then if you saw you had a problem, well, then you could. But it looks like it could be self-funding if we left $40,000 in there, and we're at 60, although we're going to take some out to pay for some stuff here. So that'll bring us down to around 52, I think. So we're still okay there. The highway equipment, you can't put enough money into that fund, and we don't put enough money according to the capital plan. We're still a little shy, but we're getting there.
Well, you never know what's gonna go, and then the prices and all that stuff just keep going crazy. And
Highway infrastructure repair, I mean, if we have to put a bridge in, and we know we're gonna have to, we know there's, what, 57,000 or something like that, we're gonna pay for Eatonville anyway.
Any
So-
update on that? That happened
No,
this
I
year?
haven't got any update on that, sorry. And then the highway equipment repair reserve, that's for, a big unexpected repair on something, that's not in the budget, 20,000, seems like it's a reasonable number. Certainly shouldn't be any higher than that, I don't think, especially once we start getting the fleet, turned around and new trucks. So I'm comfortable with that one. The dam repair, I mean, it's gonna be, essentially down to zero, $1,400 left in it. So next year, we're gonna have to raise that assessment to try to build that back up. So anyway, so with those thoughts, I'll update our policy on reserve funds to say, here's kind of what we're thinking the levels should be for those. But so we've got a little extra in the town side that we could probably make use of this year if we have something that needs repairing without any problem. We might consider doing something at the cemeteries, for example. Okay, that's it. Any questions? No? Okay. Motion to accept the supervisor's report.
Make a motion was accept supervisor's report, administrative report.
Second. Whatever Don said.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
I
carries.
said it was similar to it.
Clerk's report,
I mailed it out, emailed it out,
and I got the check, so.
Big check.
giant check.
What the action?
That's why we gotta charge more for that.
I didn't see anything on there that I questioned, so I would move to accept the clerk's report as presented.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we get to pay the bills, which means we can say goodbye to you. And we will turn off. YouTube. And they need to see the back of our heads or whatever. How they're at.
Excuse me.
Good night, folks.
Come again, right?
Good night, Ian.
Good night.
Watch over, dear.
All right.